48 light-years from here, a rocky planet is orbiting its star in exactly the right zone for liquid water to exist. For years, astronomers weren't sure it had any atmosphere at all. Now they've caught something leaking off of it into space. Helium, streaming away like air from a punctured tire. That leak is actually good news. It means there might be an atmosphere up there to begin with. So does this mean we found a second Earth? Not so fast. Stick around, because the real story is more interesting than the headlines. The planet is called LHS 1140b. It's a bit bigger than Earth, orbiting a small dim red dwarf star. Using a telescope, astronomers watched the planet cross in front of its star and looked at the starlight filtering through any gas around the planet. Buried in that light, they found the signature of helium, not sitting calmly on the planet, but escaping from it, blown off into space. Detecting escaping gas is actually a clever trick. If a planet has zero atmosphere, there's nothing to escape and nothing to detect. So, finding helium leaving LHS 1140b is the first solid clue that this planet might be holding on to some kind of gas envelope at all. Something scientists have debated for years. Here's why this is a genuinely hard problem. Small, dim red dwarf stars like the one LHS 1140b orbits are notoriously violent for their size. They blast out flares and stellar wind that can strip a nearby planet's atmosphere away over millions of years, like a leaf blower aimed at a sandcastle. Because of this, most rocky planets found around red dwarfs turn out to be bare rock, atmosphere completely gone. Mars is a small-scale example of this in our own solar system. It likely had a thicker atmosphere billions of years ago, but weak gravity and no protective magnetic field let solar winds slowly erode it into the thin, cold wisp it has today. So when astronomers look at a planet like LHS 1140b, the first question isn't, is it habitable? It's simply, does it have any air left at all? Finding escaping helium is a clue that the answer might be yes, at least for now. But a wisp of escaping helium is not the same as a thick, stable, Earth-like atmosphere. It could just as easily be the last gasp of a thin envelope on its way to becoming another Mars, or evidence of a totally different kind of world, like a small version of Neptune, that isn't rocky and Earth-like at all. This matters because LHS 1140b has been on astronomers' shortlist of the most promising rocky habitable zone planets for years. The big fear was that it might turn out to be a dead, airless rock, in which case the search for life there would basically end before it started. This helium detection doesn't prove the planet is alive or even livable, but it keeps the door open. It tells scientists there's something worth pointing bigger telescopes at. And to be clear about what this is not, detecting one escaping element is not a biosignature. It doesn't tell us the temperature at the surface, whether there's liquid water, or what the rest of the atmosphere is made of. Headlines asking, could it host life, are getting ahead of the data. What this really means is that LHS 1140b just earned a much closer look. So what happens next? Astronomers need follow-up observations, especially with instruments like JWST, that can look for a much wider range of gases, carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, to figure out what kind of atmosphere, if any, this planet actually has. If they find a thick, layered atmosphere with the right chemistry, LHS 1140b becomes one of the best real-world laboratories we have for studying whether small, rocky worlds around red dwarfs can hang on to breathable scale atmospheres at all. If instead follow-up observations show the helium is just the last traces of a thinning shell, that's valuable too. It helps scientists understand exactly how fast and how completely these violent little stars strip their planets bare. Either way, this single detection is the beginning of a longer investigation, not the end of one, and scientists are being careful not to call it more than that. 48 light-years away, a small rocky world is quietly leaking helium into space, and that faint signal is enough to keep an old question alive. Could this be a place where life might exist? We still don't know. What we do know is that this planet has an atmosphere worth studying, and that alone makes it one of the most exciting targets in the sky right now. Not because we found aliens, not even because we found a second Earth, but because for the first time, we have real evidence there's something up there to look at, and telescopes are already turning to take a closer look.